Hello and welcome to this podcast on selling your dental practice. And I suppose really you could give this podcast a subtext, which is jumping to the right conclusions, misconceptions and the realities of the dental practice sales market right now. And you might be thinking some or all of the following. Is there less buyer interest, you might be thinking? Number 2, profitability, is it still unpredictable? 3, banks too tough on lending? Number 4, values depressed, you may have heard or read this. Well, let me help you and let's talk about why you can go to the market now. Firstly, there are buyers out there with much more ambition. COVID has left a lot of associates feeling very out of control of their own destiny. And obviously they're realising that by buying a practice, there's far more earning potential as well as the freedom as a principal. Banks are offering low interest rate, making lending an attractive proposition to buyers. And associates are now taking a long-term view after the hammering that they and all of us have had for the last year. And of course, associates are adaptable. There's good corporate activity out there. They are very actively buying and paying great prices. And remember that corporates are professional buyers. They're going to buy your practice for as little as they can on the most favourable terms to them. That's how they earn their bonuses after all. Don't engage with them direct is my honest recommendation. You need to make sure you get the very best price and they will never pay you that. So let's talk about the financial aspect. At the time of this recording, practices are generating between 80 and 110% pre-lockdown revenue. Profits are comparable or better. Fees are going up. People are reviewing their pricing structure and increased patient attendance is still strong. Many principals have learned how to make better use of their time and better use of space. And of course, extended hours. This is things that people have had to bring in to survive. And all this benefits overall performance, both financially and structure-wise. The two go hand in hand together, of course. So what can you do as a principal? Number 1, take action. Get a professional valuation. Remember, jumping to a conclusion is a phenomenon where people reach a conclusion prematurely on the basis of insufficient information. So get a valuation. Understand all your options. Get the facts. Take the financial information to your IFA, your wealth management planner, and model your financial future. Even if you're not quite ready yet or are some years off, it's always a good idea to get an annual appraisal of your financial worth. And we provide this for many clients. Make sure there's nothing in your business that will hinder a sale. Start to think about it now. Property issues. For instance, a good dental broker will help you with this. Property issues are the biggest cause of delays and issues with sales collapsing. Identify and remove any roadblocks. And remember that old saying, time spent in reconnaissance is time seldom wasted. Never has a truer word been spoken. It's never too early to start all this planning and getting that kind of financial finger on the pulse. And that's something that we provide, as I say, for many clients. You need to know your number. Do you know your number? So, okay, you may have now a sale agreed. Do you think it's time to sit back and relax, take your foot off the gas? I'm afraid not. My top 5 tips for creating and maintaining momentum in your transaction going through. Number 1, keep a clear vision of the outcome you want to achieve. Don't get bogged down by the small stuff, emotion, anger, delays. Visualize those changes and circumstance in your lifestyle that selling your practice will provide you and your family. And focus on the positive. Focus on skills and strengths you have. Utilize the skills and experience of your dental practice broker, your accountant, your solicitor. Work together. Don't work against one another. And celebrate success. Reinforce wins and celebrate the successes of the milestones in the journey. Accepting an offer, selecting a buyer you're looking forward to working with, exchanging contracts, etc. And focus on the smaller number. You can measure progress, by how much you've done and how much you still have left to do. You're going to be way more motivated if you focus on the smaller of the two numbers. For example, let's put some context around this. Focus on the 3 items you've already completed and not the 10 more things you have to do. This just causes stress and it's counterproductive. Each new action feels even more impactful than it's being compared to a smaller number. Involve everyone you can. Mass creates momentum. If your sale encounters the odd obstacle along the way, it's going to be slowed down. Fact. The better and bigger your team, the less impact these obstacles have. So talk, have good dialogue, keep calm, and it will happen. And timing is everything. I often talk about how our sustainability is dependent on us continuing to earn the trust of dentists looking to buy and sell dental practices. After all, selling a dental practice is no small matter, and our clients' financial future often hinges on the financial outcome of the sale we broker with them. Dentists have choices, and I respect the fact that all of my clients have taken the decision to trust our ability to help them fulfill and exceed their business ambitions. But, being a dental broker is so much more than just finding a buyer, if only. The period between agreeing a deal and exchanging on a practice is usually longer than the time it takes to find a buyer and agree a deal. And in many transactions, the work really starts once a deal is agreed. In order to exchange on a deal, a lot of matters must all align at the particular moment in time. For instance, all the due diligence is done, not straggling, not being given piecemeal. The banks want to lend the funds to the buyer. Do they? Are you sure about this? No problems there. Nothing outstanding. CQC registrations are all complete. The lease or freehold arrangements are all agreed and in place. The buyer still wants to buy, and you, the vendor, you still want to sell. These activities involve a whole bunch of people: the seller, the buyer, the solicitors, the landlord, the CQC, and the lender. Everyone has to be in complete agreement. It is your broker who's going to work on your behalf with all these parties to get to that point. Your broker has the big picture view, and we urge you to do the same, because accountants, banks, solicitors, they're all limited in who they can talk to directly in order to mitigate any conflict of interest. Your broker is being paid for by you, usually. The broker should have demonstrated by that time that they have your best interests at heart. They know the business and they've earned the right to be trusted advisors, even though you may have only worked with them directly for a few months. If you decide, for example, to delay a deal at exchange, then I would advise you only do it on the advice of your broker once you've disclosed in detail any rationale around why you think a delay may be to your advantage. Just consider that delaying a deal could have any or all of the following consequences. The obvious one is the purchaser is very alarmed. They want to renegotiate. The purchaser withdraws. The purchaser's safe to lend with the bank expires. They didn't have to go back and start the whole process again. Ditto, the CQC registrations expire. And there's lengthy delays while all these parties get aligned again. And guess what? Your legal fees go up. Everybody's unhappy. So please don't be misled by the idea that your broker only wants you to exchange for them to get paid. Of course they want to get paid, but our sustainability is dependent on our clients trusting us and sharing that insight with their colleagues, family and friends. After all, we are only ever as good as the last deal we brokered. Hopefully this has been useful to you. It's just a few insights, but if you'd like to discuss anything about buying, selling or financing a dental practice, you know that you can make contact with us at any time. And thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.